What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Make your next thing a big one. Speaking of entertainment, today on the program, I have a rap, well, dare I say, legend? Yeah, I think he's heading that way. His name is Crunch. Oh, you've heard of Crunch. Shall I call him Mr. Crunch? Mr. The Crunch? No, just Crunch. You know Crunch. I am crunch.com. I'm going to send you to his website right now before we even talk and go find out a little bit about Mr. Crunch. Oh, just Crunch. And you'll get to know a little bit about him in the next few minutes. So stick around. This week's shows, let's see. Oh, I have 2 public shows this week. So excited about that. Usually it's only 1 public show, but I have 2 on Friday night. I'm at my usual spot, the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, the Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. Yes, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show. They got a full bar. The kitchen's open. Pool tables. They got 10 diamond style pool tables. So they have a pool tournament on Friday night. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're doing it, I encourage you to get to the Rab Friday night. I'm there from 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the a.m. for all your music and karaoke needs. So come on out and play with us. 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the a.m. on Friday night. And then on Saturday, so exciting. I have another public show for the people that are up in the Clinton area, the Choctaw area, and further up. I'm at the Choctaw VFW once again for a video dance party karaoke jam. Yeah, they got pool tables, they got a full bar, and they got yours truly. Yeah, come on out. We got a little concert starring each and every one of you. Just come and sing a song for me and for the crowd at the Choctaw VFW. I'll be there from 8 p.m. until about 12:30. Sometimes they push it till about 1, but usually it's at least 8 p.m. until well, yeah, sometimes till 1. It gets a little crazy in there at the Choctaw VFW. So come on out and play with us Saturday night. So exciting. All right, party people, that's enough intro. Let's get into it with Crunch. I am crunch.com. I got him on Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version, I encourage you to check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDAN. Skyping Crunch now. You win, man. You win. Crunch is smarter than the machine. Crunch has got a lady doing the twisties.
Yes, sir. I'm almost done.
No, I like that. You know what's funny? I was just talking about twisties to my wife. Funny, we're watching Bruce Lee Enter the Dragon, and the last time that I watched Enter the Dragon, I was down in Miami in Kendall and living in an apartment, and next door I had a young couple, and both of them had twisty hair. They were both from the islands, so they were using the grease and twisting up their hair, and we're watching Bruce Lee with Jim Kelly and John Saxon and doing their thing and fighting and just having a good time, man. But I learned a little bit about how to do the twisties. Now, back then, my hair was a little bit longer. The best I could do was braid it. I never put the grease in there to do the twists. But hi, I'm KeysDAN, man. Nice to meet you. Do I call you Mr. Crunch or Crunch or I am Crunch or Crunchalicious? What's the moniker? Crunch. Simply Crunch.
Yes, sir.
Man, that's how you brand. Yeah. You put your name. It's Crunch. I am crunch.com. I encourage everybody right off the bat to just go and visit that website and go find Crunch and go follow Crunch around, because my man, you've been doing this a long time. And I could see the progression on your YouTube page. It's been 12 years in the making on the YouTube, but you've been doing it a whole lot longer than that. But the YouTube itself, if you watch the first videos that are on there, it's raw. You're doing battles, you're doing some freestyles, but as you go, as you progress, it just gets better and better and better, and until right now, you're the best you have ever been. And I fully believe that. Do you agree?
I appreciate that, man, and I'm glad that you actually went back and you can see the progression. I did that on purpose, bro. You feel me? I did that on purpose. When you know, you know. You know what I mean? So I started documenting things a while ago, and here we are today on with KeysDAN.
Yeah, but your progression. A lot of times, these kids will start cleaning up their Instagrams, cleaning up their TikToks, cleaning up their Twitters. Right. Where I got 30,000 pictures. I don't even know. I just checked. I haven't checked in a while, but at least 20,000 pictures on my Instagram. Am I going to go back and clean that up? Supposedly, it looks a little bit more professional if you clean up all the old stuff and just pretend that the past never happened and everything is hunky dory right now. Everything is right now. There is no past. There is only present and future. And that's the way the kids are telling me, these youngins. Do you feel like there's any merit to that, or do you have to learn from the past?
Right. Yeah, you have to learn from what you've been through, and you know what I'm saying, in order to I guess even appreciate where you're gonna go or where you want to be if you ever get there. You know what I'm saying? So for me personally, I was documenting like that whole time that you saw 12 years ago, that I was homeless, bro. You feel me? So I wanted to make sure that I documented that and kind of, give the people a back view on where I've been, you know what I'm saying? Because I already had an inkling, an idea of where I was going to be, where I was going. So, yes, I think it's very important to know where you've been and understand that, you know what I'm saying? And to keep that with you, because once you progress and you actually get somewhere, then you revert back to that mind state, you know what I'm saying? And remember the things that you had to go through to get to where you are today.
Well, not only are you great, but you've also had brushes with greatness. Have you always been West Coast? Because I'm East Coast. I was born and raised in Miami, South Florida, the Florida Keys, KeysDAN, but I've been to Cali. I took the road trip all the way out 10 and out to down 8 to San Diego and all the way up to PCH to Bakersfield. So I went that way, and then I went to 15 out to Vegas. So I went up and down the southern part of California. And when I was a lot younger, I was in even the northern part. I went all the way up to as far as San Francisco. So I know a little bit about the West Coast, but I don't know a lot. I remember that I enjoyed one of the beaches. I remember the Pacific was real cold. But have you always been West Coast?
Always been West Coast since day one.
Well, tell me about day one, since we mentioned that. What is a little tiny baby crunch? I guess what were you, a nugget back then when a nugget first came out, and before he was a full-fledged crunch? Where were you? Where were you living then?
Okay, Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? 88th in Vermont.
Okay, yeah, that makes it real specific. I like that. We'll put the 88th and Vermont on the walking tour, the What Makes You Famous walking tour. Go down there and visit the homeland, the birthplace of Mr. Crunch. I'm sorry, just Crunch. So the birthplace, and I don't know that area, but people say they're from L.A., from Los Angeles. It is so spread out. There is no one part that you could say that is Los Angeles. It's different little tiny sublets and cities. But what was the part that you were from? Not just the address, but the part of Los Angeles you were from.
Well, that's South Central Los Angeles. 88th in Vermont. That's South Central Los Angeles.
All right, that's famous. So, that's famous for hip hop. Yeah. for the type of hip hop that comes out of there, the NWAs, the Tupacs. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about Tupac Shakur a little bit. May you rest in peace. But you had a little bit of brush with him, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Tell me about home life. Do you have any brothers and sisters, mom, dad?
Wow, bro. Well, I got a mom and dad, of course, right? Well, not of course, but I guess luckily, because everybody doesn't, I'm trying to find a good place to sit my phone. So, I have a half brother, and up to 2020, I guess March 28th, 2021, I had a half sister, but she passed away in Alabama. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I've been traveling back and forth over there, you know what I'm saying, taking care of different arrangements, taking care of different business, you know what I'm saying, for her and different stuff like that. And also my mother, you spoke of if I had a mom or a dad. Well, my mother was living with her. And so I kind of had to pick up the ball from that point and then take care of my mother like she was, So well, that's what I'm on.
There's nothing more important than family. And I'm so sorry that you lost your sister so recently. My goodness, out of that tragedy, I mean, comes a lot of times, once you get through your grief, somebody like you, a creator could create a memorandum, a rap about her, a song about her that would make her live forever and ever, man. And that's a power that you have. I mean, you have the gift of gab. I know that you're a wordsmith. You know rhymes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Were you reading rhyming books when you were a kid? Or what gave you the gift of gab? Did you always get yourself out of fights by talking your way out?
It was given. It was given. You know what I'm saying? It was given. The wordplay, the gift was given. So hey, it's my job to just to present it. You know what I mean? To as many of the people of the world as possible. So that's what I do, yo. I just do my part.
So for those people that are listening to the audio version, you pointed your two fingers in the air. Who would that be to you as a person has Crunch? What does Crunch believe that those people that those who is up in the air that's giving you the power?
Well, for me, it's I call him God. So the Father, you know what I'm saying? So that's where I believe my gift came from. I guess one day I came to understand that I can't give myself gifts. I'm not responsible. I guess I kind of came to that understanding. So it's beyond me. So I know that much.
Well, that's good. That's good to have a faith in a higher power. Over the years, I've had my bouts with faith, my dealings. I was born into a Catholic family, but I guess now I'm an American. You grow up, I guess, and you become who you are. But was that something that was instilled in you from a young age? Did mom and dad take you to church regularly, and you go get the word, or did they read to you out of a scripture, out of a Bible, or was there any of that?
No. None of the above. None of the above. You know what? Well, okay. So what I believe that happened is, let me just give you the scenario. Living in the neighborhood that I told you about. One day, I was low on cash. Like I told you, I was homeless before, right? So I was low on cash, but I had a gold bracelet. So there's a pawn shop that's in the area. So I went in the area to the pawn shop. This is like 11 o'clock in the morning. And I'm in line. It was only 4 people because it's still early. All of a sudden, it becomes a takeover robbery. So it was 3 guys. One of them pulled out a 9mm, put one in the chamber, points the gun at me, and starts walking towards me. So while he's walking towards me, I'm looking at him in his eyes. The gun can't do anything. It's him. So as he's walking towards me, I'm talking to somebody for the first time because now it's needed, right? So I'm like, well, I'm about to take some bullets. God, just let me live. So that was my first serious, real conversation. So, and what got me to this point now is that I'm here able to tell you the story. You understand? So what I asked for, he allowed. And also he allowed that I didn't even have to take the bullets. You know what I'm saying? So by the time I guess the guy couldn't even understand it himself why he could have pulled the trigger. He had already put one in the chamber. So I was just waiting for impact, but it never happened. He just walked up to me, put the gun to my head, and told everybody to lay down on the floor. So that's I guess my testimony, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I am with the mind state that I am today, and just understanding that it's a gift that I couldn't give myself.
Well, a lot of people would consider that to be an intervention, whether God himself or an angel or some kind of an entity, maybe a force that he sent down, came between that man who had the power of life and death right in his hands, and he could have ended you right then. How old a man were you at the time?
At this time, I'm thinking maybe 25, 26, maybe.
No, way too young, man. Way too young. Your head has barely formed, and your brain is barely able to make the proper. You're just beginning your life. Your force is just starting to meld together. So yeah, there was a whole lot more that the world needed to know about Crunch and needed to hear from Crunch. So I'm glad you're here, man. I'm definitely glad. I mean, every town's got their interesting part of town. If you go that way, you might get yourself in trouble. I know in Overtown, I had a similar thing. Just driving through Overtown, I stop at a stoplight, and I had one guy from this side with a gun, one guy from this side punched me in the face, took my my rings and my grandfather's special ring and took an amp that I had in the back seat. So there's times that you have people that have the power of life and death in their hands, and it could be detrimental, man. I'm glad you're still here. I'm glad I'm still here, and I'm glad that we're talking, man. So South Central. Tell me about South Central. And you're growing up in the 90s. Really, that's when you're starting to come, I guess, when you were 25. How old were you? I mean, what year was it?
I'm sorry?
What year was it when you were 20?
Wow, 90s. It's late 90s?
Late, okay. So by this time, were you already, I guess you were already in the rap game, because if it's in the mid-90s, you were already there. Tell me about, when did you start getting into that? What other things were you into when you were in school? Were you an athlete? Were you in poetry? Were you into the band? Was there anything? What kind of extracurriculars were you in school?
Right, good question.
Yeah.
I was into fighting, and I was into music. You know what I'm saying? So those are my two specialties: fighting and music. You know what I mean? And I say specialties because I actually been rapping since I was 10 years old. So I mean, and I mean kind of serious, like taking the photos for and making demos to shop around, you know what I mean, and doing studio demos and stuff. So I was serious about it at the time. Whether I was up to par at the time or not, that's something different. But being serious and actually trying to get a deal, I was there. You know what I mean? So,
rarely is anyone ever born fully formed. You know, you have to come into this. It's nature and nurture. You have to get nurtured into all this. You got to get taught. So, I mean, you say fighting. I've been very interested in the pugilist arts, the art of boxing and throwing hands. But was that formal, or was that just trying to survive? What kind of fighting were you doing?
Well, it's kind of for survival purposes too, but it's kind of strange because my mother showed me a picture of, she said I was like 4 or 5, and I have a punching bag, and I'm hitting a punching bag. She has a picture of that. So that's kind of, you know what I mean? Kind of a trippy thing, because later in life, I went back to it again anyway. So say at about 11, 12 years old, I'm getting bullied at school. So my mother put me in martial arts class. You know what I mean? So I started taking Taekwondo. So once I started taking Taekwondo, like, things started to change. Things started to flip. You know what I'm saying? Because you have a different, confidence about yourself when you are fighting every day in the dojo. You know what I'm saying? And you're testing yourself against other people. So things change with you pretty drastically. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I was a kid, so already as kids we were kind of invincible. So it kind of, for me, it kind of worked for me and a little bit against me. You know what I mean? Because now with this newfound confidence, I took it a little bit overboard sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Where I'm a kid though, you know what I'm saying? We're already invincible. So now I'm a martial artist, I'm in class, I'm beating people up, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So I kind of took it to the streets a little bit. But I learned semi-quickly that that's not cool and that's not gonna fly. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody in the streets is not up for the fight. So I learned that kind of quick. So yeah, so it helped me out a lot for today that I have that understanding, you know what I mean? So I'm grateful for it.
Funny enough, Crunch, that I started this podcast off with Bruce Lee in the other room. I got Enter the Dragon waiting for me to finish it. We only got to the part where he was talking to his student, and he says, it's like a finger pointing to the moon. And then he slaps the kid, and he says, don't concentrate on the finger because you will miss that heavenly glory. Yes, there is something to martial arts. I've taken a lot of different martial arts types of, different types of martial arts. Nothing that I've ever excelled in. I think I got yellow belt in at least 5 different styles. I started with Goju, which is karate. It's the USA, and Aikido and kickboxing. But yes, Taekwondo, that's probably the one that I stayed with the longest. And I was in my 20s when I started doing that. And I remember Taekwondo is the Korean martial art that makes your legs like your hands. You throw your legs as good as your hands. And they teach you that your legs are longer, so you're going to get that distance. You were able to kick. I mean, I had my sensei giving me splits, man, just pushing my butt down until I can get almost to the floor. I never quite got the Van Damme split, but I definitely got at least 6 inches off the ground. So you got flexibility. You got, I don't know, did you do Hapkido with it, which is grabbing wrists and kind of turning people into it? Usually that's paired with Taekwondo.
And you're exactly right. So one instructor was teaching Taekwondo, and the other instructor was teaching the Hapkido parts because he was a Hapkido master. He was a 10th degree. So yeah, we got them both. Yes.
Well, that's good. I mean, is that something that you still keep up with? Your fitness, you look great. You look very fit. What is your fitness regimen?
Well, I work out consistently. You know what I'm saying? I run a lot. So now I'm a boxer. You know what I'm saying? So I'm transitioning to professional boxing right now. You know what I'm saying? As we speak. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, it's another one of my my activities.
Well, that's a little something that I didn't expect from you, Crunch. I mean, let's see. I lived in Orlando for about a year, maybe 8 months. And I remember I was looking for something to do, and I went to a gym at Church Street, and it was Candyman's gym. I remember the guy's name was Chris, but he called himself Candyman. And this is like, if you watch Rocky, there's this old, like Mickey's gym, just stuff falling off the walls, but it felt like a place to go work out. And they would have little exhibition fights. I got knocked out quite a bit, but I was able to get some exercise in, and I do like the boxing, man. I appreciate that you're even going pro, that you feel good enough that you're, I mean, how many exhibitions or how many amateur fights have you done?
Well, you know what? I've only had 10 amateur fights, but everybody's different.
Yeah, okay? That's 10 more than a lot of people. Yeah, that's 10 more than a lot of people get in their whole lives. Yeah. Okay, so how did you do in those 10 fights?
I am 9-1, and I'm 9-1, and I feel like they. I don't want to. Well,
I got robbed. I got robbed. You got those. I guess you had 3 judges, and it was 2-1, and the other guy's favor. No, you got robbed.
They saw a different fight. Okay, so all right. So what it is to keep it 100. I actually got beat, but what I say, why I say that it wasn't fair is because when you're in the amateur rankings, you're supposed to be matched up accordingly to your experience, right? So I was at like, I don't know, maybe 6 fights or something, but this person was at like 10 or 11, 12 fights, something like that. So he was already an open fighter. You have to have 10 fights, then you become an open fighter where you can fight somebody with 15 fights. You can fight somebody with 20 fights because of your experience now. You feel me? So I hadn't had that experience level yet. So they picked me against somebody who they knew already that was more experienced than me. So yeah, and he was a southpaw. So yeah.
Well, tell people what a southpaw is if they haven't seen Rocky. Tell them what a southpaw is.
Well, southpaw is now everything is reversed. Everything is backwards. It's the opposite way of what you are now. So it's kind of a tough look to deal with. Everything is coming the opposite now, and you're used to everything coming conventional, a certain way. You know what I mean? You're used to a left hand jab coming at you, but in this, you have a right hand jab coming at you. You know what I'm saying? So everything is the opposite. So it's pretty it's a little bit different to deal with. But now I've trained myself to be southpaw, so I can give them that now.
Well, the thing is, when you're watching people go toe to toe, usually if it's two right-handed fighters, you'll have the jab next to the power hit. Then the other, but with a southpaw, if you ever watched Rocky, and I know millions of people have seen Rocky, he said the southpaw, that power hit had to come from all the way out here, the way Apollo was talking about it, all the way from around here to go. It takes a lot of time to get over. For those people that are watching the video, oh yeah, he's showing you the power, the strength. He's been working out. But what weight class are you in?
I'm welterweight, 147 pounds, like Floyd Mayweather's division.
Fantastic, man. I talked to a guy named Rodney Gillespie. They called him the Chicken way back when. I think in the 90s he was actually doing his fighting. I talked to him. He's here in Conway, Arkansas, and he's got a gym. I'm going to go ahead and give him a shout out. Gillespie's Gym. Go check it out. But that's another gym. Not quite as dirty as the Rocky Gym. He keeps it clean. He keeps it real nice, man. But he was lightweight. And I loved watching lightweight fights. For people that watch fights, you watch the lightweights. Those people just pop, 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 hands, speed, just all over the ring. You watch a heavyweight fight, you watch like Ali versus George Foreman, for example, and it was boom, bombs, boom, real slow. Boom. Although when he was doing his rope-a-dope and trying to get George Foreman to tire out, but just fighting in general is just it's amazing. It's a tough way to make a living. Let me tell you, getting hit in the head. I mean, Ali didn't fare so well in the end, and I'm sure a lot of other boxers had some problems with their heads. But sometimes you have a calling for it, and you have to do it. You want to do it. Tell me what makes you want to get hit in the head for a living.
When you have your first fight, that'll tell you, like your first actual war. You can spar in the gym and get ready for your first fight. You can do all of that. But when you actually have your first actual war, that'll tell you if it's for you or not. You'll either quit or you'll have to have it.
And you have to have it, man.
You have to have it. Some people retire, but they have to go back to it. It calls you. You have to keep going until you, I guess, absolutely cannot anymore.
Well, that's okay. If you were 25 back in 96 or late 90s, and this is 20 years later, you in your 40s trying to go pro?
Yes. Just the same as I started rapping when I was 10, trying to go pro. Aha. So now I'm on with KeysDAN.
Now we're going to, all right. We've talked a little bit about the fighting. Let's talk about the music. 10 years old. You have yourself a little tape recorder. And for that, my loyal listener that doesn't know what a tape recorder is, it used to be a little tape. Okay. I'm not even going to explain what a tape recorder is. Google it. Okay.
It looks something like
But when you were 10 years old, are you recording yourself and selling mixtapes or trying to get out in the schoolyard and doing some rapping?
Yes.
Tell me about you, 10 years old.
I'm having rap battles every day. My cousin and myself, we were a group. So you can imagine that we heard groups like Run DMC. So we did the back and forth thing, you know what I mean? So I guess I would have been the Run because of a brownish skin, and he was a lighter shade, so he was the DMC of the group, you know what I mean? So, but we had our own names, of course, right? But so yeah, man, we would battle every day, battle all the groups, anybody who rapped, we were open for the battle, and I have to say that to this day we are 500-0.
Well, you know what's funny is I just mentioned Run DMC today. I'm over at the car dealership. I just got myself a new van. I'm very excited. Yes, humble brag or just actual brag. I needed to have my DJ equipment riding in style. But over at the dealership, there was a young man and he was wearing Adidas and he was wearing pink and red Adidas, pink on the front and red on the heels. And I went, man, Run DMC would be proud. And I was like, and then I'm thinking about back when when people were saying they were selling out. I don't think you were selling out. You were getting paid when they turned their My Adidas song into Buy Adidas. They're already wearing the gear. Might as well get paid for it. But I love Run DMC. Some of my favorites. But when you were doing your rap battles, was it all original raps or was it stuff that you had heard?
Never repeated someone else's raps. Ever.
No, I can't. Go ahead. I can't say that, man. I can't say that to myself. My favorite rapper is Heavy D. So whatever happens, whatever may come, whatever maybe it's cool. I got to cover beloved from A to Z. I'm the overweight lover.
Heavy D.
I mean, that's my favorite, but I know a lot of different raps in my head, but nothing that I've ever really made up on my own. That is a power that you have and you've been working on it since you were 10. So that's over 30 years of experience of work. Yes, indeed. And it just gets better and better and better the more you do it. Comedian, got to get up on stage and do some comedy. Actor, got to get in front of the screen and do some acting. Rapper, got to do some rapping. And that's what you've been doing, man.
See, I changed my shirt so you can see. This is my logo right here. This is my merchandise. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but that's Crunch.
Yeah, it's a mouth. For those people that are listening to the audio version, I encourage you to check out the video version. But there's a mouth with a microphone as the head, and then the mouth is crunching. It's biting on the word crunch. And then underneath, there's some little squigglies. Is that lightning bolts or what is that on the bottom?
Well, that's sparks because the microphone is destroyed. The cord is torn apart. It's shredded. So, yeah, those are sparks.
Yes.
It's Crunch.
Yes. And that microphone, man, I enjoy I like the style of microphone. That's the Shure SM55SH classic microphone. It's great, man. I used to have one and it got stolen while I was working at a radio station down in Little Rock. Oh man, I missed that microphone. But when you're 10 years old, what are you doing? When you're just breaking out, you're just trying to get your skills. Are you? I mean, a lot of people get into the music business or the entertainment business to impress the ladies. Is that what you were trying to do at first?
Who you trying to impress?
What's that?
Right. Is that at 10? Who you trying to impress, right?
Well, I mean, at 10, are you even thinking about girls? I don't remember thinking about girls. I remember it was a lot of baseball and riding bikes and maybe BB guns or whatever I was doing. Maybe Bruce Lee movies, that kind of thing. Well, I mean, what were you in? Who were you trying to impress at 10? Just trying to make friends.
I was into all of that too. The karate shoes, everything. The Bruce Lee karate shoes. I was into all of that. The nunchucks, the throwing stars, all of that stuff. Yeah, you know what I mean. So,
see, I like the movies, but my brother was really, really into it. I mean, he used to sleep on the other side of the bed and sleep with a knife. and throwing stars. And he almost killed me when I went in and said, "Hey, it's time for school." And boop, here comes a knife. I was like, "What is that?" So yeah, it can be detrimental to your health. But we survived. Yeah. We lived. We played outside. I mean, when you were a kid, you were playing outside, weren't you? You didn't stay inside and play video games all that much.
Well, what's trippy is that you were saying about being little kids playing outside. Well, check this out. When I was 4, this is my memory. Okay. So when I'm like 4 or 5 or something to that effect, I'm visiting my grandparents. They live in the South. I'm in the backyard. I'm playing by myself. But suddenly I say, I love music, but I can't sing because I'm a kid. So all I'm hearing is the people around me playing Michael Jackson music, or, you know what I mean, singers, just R&B stuff, you know what I mean? And I heard some disco stuff, different stuff like that. So I don't know anything about hip hop, but I have the memory that I actually said, I wish there was a music that I could do. You know what I'm saying? So then a little bit later, I started to hear about hip hop, and it's been on ever since.
Man, all that music from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, that is the music that we took and sampled, ripped off, whatever, took the beats. As I know, when I was a baby DJ, my job was to set the beat. If I wasn't the MC, if I was the DJ, take those beats, take that instrumental part, have 2 records exactly the same, play this part, boom, 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 and then stop this record, have that record on the same part, boom, 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 boom. So the MC, so the rapper can rap over the instrumental part. Were you involved in any of that?
You know what, man? I wasn't at that era. I'm after that. That was way in the beginning times right there. That's the origin of it right there, man.
Yeah, by the time you come around, you got the ability to record just the instrumental part, or even buy the instrumental part and rap over it and do the battles.
Right. I've heard those hip hop stories from the beginning. That's how it started in the clubs, by them doing the instrumental part and having the MC start to do his thing to it. So yeah, I've heard those stories, man. Interesting stuff.
Oh, 2 turntables and a microphone. That's the way it used to be. Nowadays, man, if I could get away with 2 turntables and a microphone, that would be wonderful. I miss that so much. Now I got to be the MC, the lighting, the promoter. I got to be so much. You know, if a club hires me to be the DJ, they expect me to make flyers. Not complaining. I've gotten good at Photoshop. I've gotten good at the branding. I've gotten good, which is something that you have to contend with now. We grew up before computers were even really a thing. You know, we had video games, we had all that, but you know, we didn't have cell phones too much in the beginning. But you grew up maybe 10 years later than me. You're starting to get computers, but you still grew up in an era before all that. So you have that mindset to where if you want to get the word out, you have to make a tape, and you make several tapes and sell those tapes and say, hey, take a listen to this. This is me. Would you like to hire me? Well, we've been with you at 10 years old. When do you start breaking out and going out into the world and actually becoming the rapper that you are becoming, that you have become?
Okay, so let's go through the story then quickly. All right, so I'm in my 20s and the 90s. Okay, so in the beginning of the 90s, I got an opportunity. I had a friend who was a director of low budget music videos. She called me. She said, "Do you want to come and work on this video?" I said, "Yes." I showed up, and it's a movie, actually. It's Poetic Justice. You ever heard of that movie, Poetic Justice?
Oh, yeah, Tupac.
Okay, right. So I'm in line for the audition for this movie for a part that she said was a video, but it ended up being a movie. So I'm in line and I'm auditioning for a part that plays for 2 weeks, right? That I would work for 2 weeks. But John Singleton pulled me out of the line and said, "No, I want him to photo double for Tupac." So So I ended up being his photo double on that movie. So if anybody ever saw that movie, he played a mailman. But see, now this is the thing. He came from back east. There's a lot of people from back east that don't have driver's licenses and that do not drive. You feel me? So he was one of those people. So I did all the driving scenes. So when you see that mail truck rolling, that's me driving. As we were filming the movie, people were teaching him how to drive. So there may be a quick shot of him actually driving the mail truck, practicing and actually driving the mail truck so that they could get a close-up of his face driving the mail truck. You know what I'm saying? So when you see all the pictures of him in the mail truck and he has the backwards cap on with the hoodie on, and when you see those pictures like that, that's just him sitting in the mail truck. You know what I'm saying? Sitting there for the photography shots. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So that was a cool experience. So after that, I assistant directed. I get around, keep your head up, and I also make appearances in those videos. Now, I'm also in one of the first videos, Holla If You Hear Me. All right, now I'm in 3 of Tupac's videos. Now check me out. Tupac's always in the center. I'm always on his right side, but the world does not even know that. They've been seeing me for 100 years, but they don't know that. You understand? Because everybody was looking down the center, and that's cool. I understand that. My job at the time was to make sure you look down the center. My job was to make him who he was and who he became. You know what I'm saying? As an assistant director, that was my job, to make sure he was spotlighted. You know what I mean? So your question, when did I begin? You know what I'm saying? My quest, it was a quest since 10, but I had to do other things because your quest doesn't always pan out right away. So I had to do other things as working with Tupac, working with Ice Cube, different things like that. So then one day, the unfortunate happens. We had already talked about doing a collaboration on a song, you know what I mean? So that was going to be in the works already. But the unfortunate happened, so that was, you know what I mean, stopped. So then I just had to pick up a ball for my own self and start pushing my own self out there. So that's when it all started happening for, I guess, myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Crunch, you realized at an early age, at a young age, that we cannot do all this by ourselves. We have to have a team. So you were part of that team. If it's time for Crunch to shine, I hope there's teammates like that lovely lady that was doing the twisties in your hair. I hope she is one of the teammates and other people. And like myself, I'm going to be pushing you forward. You're center stage. You got the spotlight on you. I want to know about you. Now, yes, that particular point in time, it was getting Tupac out in front, getting his career, because he was in Digital Underground, and not a lot of people know that. Were you involved with him when back when he was with the Humpties, with Shock G and all that?
No. Right. Okay. So I came in right after that. I came in, because when he was with them, though, he did 8 bars on one of the songs. And those 8 bars got him really, really out there. You know what I'm saying? People started to fall in like with him at that point. All right. So then the story is that Interscope, the owner of Interscope, his daughter popped in the CD of his or his cassette tape or something while they were driving. And she ended up saying, "I love this." He ended up signing them from her. And that's when I got on board, is once he became solo act. You know what I mean? Him and Thug Life. So that's when I came on board. That's when he started shooting his own personal videos. You know what I mean? Holla If You Hear Me. I Get Around. Keep Your Head Up. Different things like that. So yeah, that's when I came on board.
Yeah, these are still songs that I play quite often when I'm doing parties, when I'm at clubs. These are songs that'll live forever. And Crunch, you were a part of that. Maybe you think you were a small part of that, but you were a part of that. It's a spark. Like on your shirt, you got the sparks, you got the lightning. There's lightning that strikes, and it becomes, it becomes a fire, and it's blazing. You may think that you haven't, really made, you got to this level. Now you got to get to that level. We're going to keep pushing you, get further up. You have the skills to pay the bills. I know this. I know you can get on stage and you can light it on fire, figuratively speaking, and make the crowd just feel a certain kind of way with your words, man, with whatever feeling that you have? Do you get inspiration where do you get inspiration? Let's go with that. Let's go with a typical interview question. Where do you get your inspiration?
Wow, man. From my new album, Lethal, man. A lot of it, it's called Lethal, but not even in that sense, though. But in a hip hop sense, lethal. You know what I mean? Lyricism, wordplay. You know what I mean? Just hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. A lot of that, I got inspiration. Like I said, in one of my songs, I told you about when I got held hostage in the pawn shop. One of my songs is called "Get It Poppin'," and I speak of my scenario about being held hostage, where I refer to like the guys that held me hostage. They got my CD bumping right now. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I make references like that to it. And it just may be that they're coming across my music, you know what I'm saying? And don't even remember the guy that they held hostage, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, different things like that, just life scenarios, basically.
I worry about the people like you that give too much, that give too much information, tell too much truth. Because, a lot of the conspiracy is that Tupac named names in his raps. And maybe that was part of his demise. Do you feel like there's any truth to that?
Oh, wow, man. It was just so much going on and so much conspiracy theories and, so many aspects that I can't, myself, I don't want to try and pinpoint one situation, you know what I mean? That was the whole, you know what I mean? Thing that tipped the
yeah, and you were the inside guy. You were in there, with the group. So I mean, you would know. You probably have your own theories. Sounds like you want to keep them to yourself, and you don't want to subscribe to one theory or another, or even give validity to one theory or another, and just leave it out there and let Tupac rest in peace, man. And his music will live on forever, just like you, Crunch, man. When I told my wife that I was going to be interviewing a rapper named Crunch, she said, "Crunch, man, that's a great rap name. That tells you that it's raw, it's talent, it's hard, it's not it's not polished, it's not smoothed out like a diamond. It's like a stone that's gonna grate at you until it gets under your skin and you start feeling it. Oh, okay. I want to be a part of this Crunch sensation. Tell me about the name Crunch. How did that come about?
Well, in the same school my elementary school that I was telling you I was having the rap battles at, one day we, like all the rappers of the school, got together and we were choosing names for ourselves. And one of the rappers said, "Man, I said that I was gonna call myself Crunch, but I was like, nah, that's not me. So I chose this." When he said that, when I heard Crunch, I was like, "Oh, that's me." So he tossed it, and I picked it up. You know what I mean? And been that way ever since. Yes, sir. A little bit of reinventing yourself. I add Crunch Infinite. You know what I mean? So yeah. But Crunch, for the most part, yes.
Yeah, because a lot of companies, you'll hear limited. Infinite means you can go anywhere, and it sounds like you're going anywhere. I mean, you already have two major facets, two careers that you have between the pugilism, the fighting, the stand-up boxing, and the rapping. I mean, is there any other avenues that Crunch is about? And when you're fighting, are you going to be calling yourself Crunch?
Crunch, yes, sir. Crunch,
I can see that. Sir. I can see that on your shorts. I can see that on your robe, unless you come out like Tyson in a towel, just a cut up towel. No, I don't need a robe.
We'll see. I might come out with my logo, bro. I might come out with my logo on the road. You know what I mean?
Well, now you're with these kids. You got the branding, at Crunch. Now it's at Crunch Infinite, but definitely people need to go to the IamCrunch.com because that's where it's all at. That's where you're going to find out where Crunch is, how to get the albums, your clothing line, Lethal. is out there. You're selling it a simple $1 a piece. I didn't think people made albums anymore. I thought it was all singles. Where you get a single and you put it out there for $1 or whatever. But people are making albums now. I remember picking up a record and reading the covers and reading the stories in the album. Do you have liner notes? Where do they find that kind of stuff?
Well, they can go to my website, man, and just start pressing things. You can press clothing. You go to my clothing. You can press music. You go to my music. You can press bio. You go to my bio. You know what I'm saying? You can check everything out there.
Okay, there's another facet. You have your own clothing line. Very fresh. I like the clothing line. You have your own shop. They can get watches and what is it? A cactus? A lamp? They can get a backpack. All crunchy style.
There, man. Yeah. You see my baseball cap? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to wear a Crunch baseball cap? I mean, that's a fantastic logo. Who designed that logo for you?
Well, okay, so for some years, I have been trying to get my idea conveyed to an artist, and it was a tough thing. So recently, maybe 2 years now, I talked to a artist, and they understood my vision, and they actually brought it to life. Or brought it to art. So very cool, you know what I mean? And it's a female, so shout out to her.
Absolutely, man. It's nice to have somebody in your corner. That logo right there, I designed the 3 logos, 3 out of 4, the karaoke, the video dance party, and then the one with the microphone. Same kind of microphone that you're wearing on your shirt is in my logo. But the Radio What logo, that was a vision that I had, and my wife, very meticulous, she put that together for me. I said, I want to have a question mark, I want to have what, and I want to have radiowhat.com on there. It's nice to have people on your team. Now, as we wind this thing down, I know I've taken some time, and we've really only scratched the surface of Crunch, man. We've barely got into this, but I want you to give shout outs to people that have helped you along the way, and let them know, because we know we can't do it all by ourselves. Yes, we can press record and get a demo out there, but it takes people to help you along. Somebody in a studio with a discerning ear, an editor that can make it sparkle, that can make it shine. But tell me who's been helping you along the way.
Right. Okay. So, so you say those things to make you sparkle. Well, okay. So there's several producers that I have. I have producers from France. You know what I'm saying? That did the title song to my album called Lethal. You know what I'm saying? So it's so many different people, man. Wow.
Well, I don't want to put you on the spot and make you forget anybody, but I mean, there's at least those people, that chosen little circle. I know that with this internet thing, you could send your demo, you could send your tracks out all over this planet. And eventually we'll go outside this planet and go to other planets and other galaxies, and they'll be remixing your songs for you. But, I know we can use this internet for good.
Right. Well, his name is Snow, and his production company is called Snow Beats. You know what I'm saying? So y'all look him up, you know what I mean, at Snow Beats. He's a really, really dope producer. And like I said, that's the title song of my album. So, yeah, he's very, very dope. There's other producers. There's a YouTube where you can go and lease beats. You know what I'm saying? So for me, a lot of the beats, I only have 11 songs on my album. So, but a lot of those beats were YouTube beats. Now, check this out. This is a scenario really quickly. I was on Craigslist, and I came across a person, an entity that said they were looking for artists. They were a record company. So I ended up going out to Las Vegas, connecting with these people, reading the little short contract or whatever. Nobody else came to the table, so they came to the table. So why not, right? Okay, so I signed this contract with them, right? But when all is said and done, and I start recording, maybe about 2 songs into the recording, I find out that the guy is just someone who is in love with hip hop, but he's not serious about actually having him running a label, right? So now I have all these beats that I have chosen. So I started writing to already, and I have recorded X amount of songs and everything. So I'm not just gonna throw this project away. It's lethal, right? So, right? So I didn't throw it away. So I had to basically complete the album, mix and master the album my own self. I recorded, mixed it, and mastered it my own self, and I had to actually put it out and distribute it my own self. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't supposed to be a label. I was supposed to be an artist on a label, but that ended up happening. So I just had to keep it going, man. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So when you ask about the different producers on the beats, well, that guy who was supposed to be a label CEO, he presented beats to me that he had leased from these producers on YouTube. You see what I'm saying? So, but him not being a real company, everything was in the air. So now I had to pick up the ball and start contacting these producers on my own, and you know what I mean, as many of them as I could. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, that's what ended up happening. I had to become a record label my own self. Instead of his record label being on as the title, it's my Crunch Time ENT is now the record label to drop these songs. You know
Crunch, that's very innovative. How do you know how to do all these things? As it takes a certain type of person with a certain type of ear that can make sure that the music is right, the levels are right. How do you know how to do all this stuff?
Yes. Well, see, luckily for me, I had taken an engineering. I went to college for engineering, and I have an associate's degree in engineering, audio engineering, right? So
where did you go?
I had all the equipment, and I knew what to do to pick the ball up and keep rolling. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was a blessing, maybe in disguise, that I even knew how to do those things. You know what I mean? Because actually, the music that I recorded is music that you are aware of. You know what I'm saying? So it's back to KeysDAN.
Yeah, but Crunch, what made you want to go to audio engineering school? Not a lot of artists would want to do that. And what school did you go to?
Wow, man. I went to Los Angeles Film and Recording School in Hollywood on Sunset Boulevard. All right, so what made me go there is that I was actually just going to meet one of my friends, bro. I was going to meet my homie. That's it. You know what I mean? So, but when I got there, he was not there. But I saw a bunch of people outside in front of a building, and when I saw them, I started asking questions. You shooting a video, shooting a movie? What's going on? It's Hollywood, right? So they said, no. This is the recording school. We're in the film and recording school. We're becoming engineers, and they had laptops and everything that you know what I mean for the job. So I was like, okay, well I'm here. So I went in. It was like 8 o'clock at night, man. So I went in. And they actually still had somebody there for me to talk to and give me forms to fill out. So I filled out the paperwork, and I started the school. They gave me the loans, the student loans, the grants, and all that stuff. And I started, and I graduated, and here we are. So one of my songs I produced from the album. I produced one song on the album, and it's called "Rock With Me." All right. The music video to "Rock With Me" features P. Diddy. If anyone out there knows who P. Diddy is, you know what I mean?
He's changed his name so many times.
Right. Well, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy,
Sean Combs.
I mean? So yeah, he's in the video. So y'all check that out, man. "Rock With Me" by Crunch, featuring P. Diddy. It's a pretty cool video. I like it. Oh, also, let me not forget that I edited that video also. You know what I mean? So when you say that it takes a team of people to make this thing happen, it really, really does. You know what I'm saying? It just so happened for me that the team was non-existent. They were a figment. They just created. They weren't real. You know what I mean? So I had to do this thing. There's people who helped me along. Like when I didn't have a vehicle, people drove me to shows. People drive me here. People do those things. So I want to give a shout out to Dorothy Stanley for that aspect of what I do. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple other people, Ronnie Fuselier, and I mean Cherokee Harris. These are people who are part of my camp, and they have your back, and they help you with the extras that you need, because you can't do everything. That you can't do. Even though everything was thrown on me, it's a big weight, and no, I could not do it all alone. No, I could not.
Well, I know I saved this to the end, and I've been homeless a few times, you know, living in my car, and you know, thankfully it hasn't been for a long, long time. And I know that there's a homeless problem throughout this country and even throughout the world. I know I'm in Arkansas, and there is it's legal to panhandle. So on every street corner, every major street corner, there's somebody holding a sign saying, please help, or had a Bible verse or something, family in need. Every little bit helps. Tell me about your experience with homelessness. How long was it, and how did you get through it?
Well, how I think that it started was this music. It was not many years ago. There was and everybody could do their own thing to DIY. You know what I mean? So when it was still the company thing, I was thinking that like somebody will find me, somebody will pick me up, somebody will hear me, right? But I made the music my 9 to 5. And when you make the music your 9 to 5, you could be landing yourself in trouble. You know what I mean? So so for a while you can sleep on a couch here, you can sleep on a floor there, but those things gonna kind of start to run out eventually. So that's why I ran into where those things ran out. So now you're headed to the streets. You know what I mean? And I do truly believe that it was all due to the music. You know what I mean? Me realizing and understanding that I have been given a gift. Mm-hmm. So if I have been given a gift, I felt that some entity will hear this gift and pick up on it. Never happened.
Well, it takes a lot, Crunch, to bet on yourself. I mean, there's been a few times when I've given up all the day jobs and I've said, look, I'm just going to DJ full time. I'm going to go into this music thing full time. But it's a lot easier if you have some kind of a day job that affords you to be able to do the night job. It's nice to have a steady check, especially if you got a family, if you got people counting on you. I mean, I know you had that nice lady there. I don't know what the relationship is with her. And if you have a family, if you have kids, if you have people that are depending on you to keep a roof over their heads, is there anybody like that?
Yes. Well, at this particular point, like I said, I'm kind of taking care of my mother's type of situation. You know what I'm saying? I have children too, so I take care of all encompassed. You know what I'm saying? And trying to make it even better and even more simplified for their lives. You know what I'm saying? The more successful I can become, then I can alleviate and add better and bigger things to their lives. I can alleviate certain pressures, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm on right now.
Well, that's it. That's family. I think it was, I saw Wyatt Earp, and I remember one of the lines where there's nothing more important than family. And that really stuck with me. Really, those are the people that are going to more likely than not. And there's a few exceptions, but more likely than not, the family is what's going to stick with you and help you out and push you up and help you in times of need. Now, is your mom still in Alabama? Is that what it is?
No, I actually took care of all the business there and moved her out to Las Vegas. So that's where she lives now.
Okay, that's a little closer. Quite a few miles away from Los Angeles still, but not quite as far. But man, right. You're doing it. You're doing the job. You're putting yourself out there. And boxing, my goodness, you're going to get hit in the head a lot, man. But you're ready for it, are you?
Well, I try not to get hit a lot. I actually don't get hit a lot. You know what I mean? So
stick and move.
That's another blessing that I have. Yes, you got to move it. A lot of fighters have a little bit too much machismo, and a lot of fighters just don't have movement. So they end up taking a lot of shots. I do not take a lot of shots. I don't like a lot of shots. I like giving shots more than I take shots. So, yeah, that's my thing. It's to always be on the move. Move that head out of the way.
Yeah, Mr. Miyagi said it best. Punch comes at you, don't be there. That's the best best defense. Don't be where the punch is going to be.
Yeah.
But that's great, man. You're taking punches. You're giving lyrical punches. You're doing the job, man, and you're building something here, Crunch. And I know we've only touched the surface. I want you to come back as time progresses. I know you got this album out there. What is it? What's the name of the album again? Lethal. And they could definitely find that on the IamCrunch.com website, and you could buy them a little dollar at a time. I mean, what's the best way to support an artist? It's not to really stream them on Spotify, as you don't get paid anything with that streaming. I got a little stream when I went to your website, but it instantly plays, and but people aren't making money on the streaming. People are making money when they do live, and I think even more than that is when they buy a piece of clothing from you. That you might make a more of a dollar than actually streaming the song. I mean, how do people support you? And are you playing live any place?
Yes. They can support me. You can buy my album. You can buy the entire album, or you can buy a song that you like. You know what I'm saying? Will only be 99 cents. And if you scroll and keep listening, you might like everything. You can buy the whole entire album. It's only $9.99. And you can buy my merchandise. You know what I mean? So, I will be performing in Las Vegas. Okay. So there's Virgin Records. In Las Vegas. Virgin Records owns a hotel called Virgin Hotel. Right? Okay, so I'll be performing Wednesday night at the Virgin Hotel, and it's inside of the Shag Room inside of the Virgin Hotel.
Is it still Richard Branson that owns all that Virgin stuff? Because don't sleep on Richard Branson. I know people talk about Elon Musk, and they talk about all these other was it Bezos? But don't sleep on Richard Brannigan, man. That guy's got an airport. He's got hotels. He's got record company. Island. Oh my gosh. Island. Yeah. Don't.
Air go Virgin.
I mean,
an island.
Have you had the opportunity to meet up with that dude, or no? He's just ghost.
I have not. That would be great. I have not, but maybe one day.
No, that's fantastic, man. So, when are you going to be playing over there?
Wednesday. This coming Wednesday.
This Wednesday. Oh, I better put this up quick. That's fantastic, man. Okay.
Out.
All right, man. Anything else in the future after that?
Oh, wow, man. Yeah, of course. Big fame and big success. Yeah. So, and performing in a city near you. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, I'll definitely put this up real quick. What's that?
I have a Job Corps. You heard of the Job Corps?
No.
You know about the Job Corps, right?
No. What is that?
Okay, so I have a Job Corps tour coming up, and it's gonna happen in October, though. You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna start till October, though. You know what I mean? Other than that, I will be performing locally and then LA, everywhere. I was just I don't know if you heard of Venice Beach, but Venice Beach has a real famous basketball court, and a lot of basketball players come there to play all the time. So I just performed at halftime on the Venice Beach basketball courts last week. So stuff like that all the time.
Is that the one that was featured? Is that the one that was featured in White Man Can't Jump?
Yes, exactly, definitely, yes.
Fantastic, man.
Yeah.
See, you're living in the right spot to do the right kind of music. You're in LA. You got places to go. There's no shortage of places that you can perform and show your talents out to the people. All right, we've already given the shout outs. Any other avenues you want to explore? Tell people about different things that you're. Is there anything else that you're into, or as we wind this thing down?
Wow, man. I don't think we left anything out.
Fantastic. I like that. I like that we covered everything. All right. Usually I like to finish these things off with last words for the people. This could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, maybe a mantra that you wake up with every morning, or something you heard, it's something that pops into your head at this moment in time. Now, once again, I don't want this to be the last time that we talk. I want you to come back as time progresses. If you got new shows, we don't have to go a whole hour. If you want to just do a half hour and promote whatever show that's coming up or whatever record, and let me know how Lethal is selling, how it's doing, how it's faring out there in the world. And I definitely want a copy of Lethal so I can play it on RadioWhat.com for sure. And give some last words for the people, Mr. Crunch. I'm sorry, just Crunch. Give the last words for the people.
Okay, well, I want to say this. If like a lot of times within ourselves, we'll know if we have something or if we don't have something. Sometimes we may think and believe that we have something, meaning a talent and ability or something to that effect. But I'll say Michael Jordan, he got cut off the basketball team in high school. You know what I mean? So, but look at him now. You know what I mean? I'm wearing his shoes. You know what I'm saying? So, if you feel that you have something, don't let anybody tell you anything different, because they will. Just because they don't have the same ability that you've been given, and the same or the same talent you've been given. So don't listen to them. Do what you do. All right. So check this out. Don't let anything stop you. I don't want to end this on a downbeat, but just to say how much you should continue and forge forward. Okay, so my sister passed away in 2021, but I had already had a concert that I was headlining. It was already been in the works for months already, 3 months already. You know what I mean? And this was at the world famous Whiskey A Go-Go in Hollywood, California. You know what I'm saying? And this is where all the legends have performed. We're talking, Led Zeppelin, Bob Marley, U2, everyone, even Eminem performed there. You know what I'm saying? So I headlined this show. So 2 weeks after my sister's passing, I flew back to Los Angeles to do this concert. And I had to be in rehearsals while I'm preparing her funeral and buying her clothes and identifying her body, things like that. You understand? So I'm just saying how detrimental it is to, if you have something, just go for it. Don't stop. Don't let anything stop you. Because if I had let even that situation stop me, what would she think? What would she even think? She knows how long I've been doing it and how hard I've been going at it. You know what I mean? So I guess I don't want to end it on a downbeat, but you know what I mean? I just want to say never stop and keep going until you get it, period.
Oh my goodness. There you have it, party people. Crunch. I am crunch.com. That's where you need to go. Find out more. Get the record. Lethal. It's out now. I mean, and it's good. It's good. I can't believe he produced it all himself. How do you get that knowledge? I know I went to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting myself, and I got a little taste of television and writing and audio production, and pretty much what I'm doing right now is what I learned and some of the other stuff that I did on the job, working on different radio stations and doing different productions for commercials and stuff. So yeah, it's good. He didn't have to go to school for it, but he did. Crunch, you're a smart guy. You went further than you had to go, and it was beneficial because when the other person dropped the ball, you picked it up and you ran with it, and you made your own album. That's fantastic. I know how to use Cool Edit and Pro Tools and XSplit and OBS, and if you don't know what that is, look it up. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there, or if you want to go the route that Crunch went and go to school for it, give it a shot. Maybe you could do the things that you want to do. And boxing, man, I was stunned. I didn't know he was a boxer. I didn't know Crunch, I didn't know you were a boxer. And when you came up with that, man, I perked up. And the martial arts, the taekwondo, the hapkido, yeah, I've done it. I understand it's hard work. I've experienced it myself. So yeah, I feel you. I've punched a bag. One of my favorite exercises is still punching a heavy bag. I was never really that good at the speed bag, but punching a heavy bag, that's good exercise. It just puts a lot of jarring on your muscles, and the turning, it helps your obliques. It helps your body, it's just keep moving, make sure that you don't stiffen up. So, yeah, the boxing's a good thing. Maybe the getting hit in the head, not so much. Just get out the way. Stick and move. When the punch comes at you, no be there. That's what Miyagi said. No be there. All right, party people. That's it. I look forward to hearing more from Mr. Crunch. I'm sorry, just Crunch. I look forward to hearing more from Crunch in the near future and in the distant future. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. And now, if you, yes, you, my loyal listener, if you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.